When I was little, my mommy was always tweaking me. She'd adjust my skirt and tidy up my hair. I remember church hats and mirrors, Mom poofing my beret, tilting and retilting the straw hat over my head, working so hard to get me just right. She loved a good project. And apparently, getting me to look good in a hat was a lifelong one. I can't remember how old I was the first time, but I can see shiny linoleum, the long halls, hear the clicking heels as Mom strode down them. I was holding onto her hand, jogging along, trying to keep up. We were visiting the Bronxville Hospital to see Nurse Cody, to give her a hug. It was our annual pilgrimage. When Jerry was 16, she had a cold but went swimming anyway. There was an obvious moral here. Then she rode in a convertible with the top down and went to a dance where she danced a long time before she arrived home sick enough to go to bed and stay there. Her fever rose to a delirium. Her coughing became deeper and more serious. Her parents were probably quite frantic. They called an ambulance. They took her to a hospital. And here the time scale expands from hours to days and weeks and months. Her mother probably sat at her bedside all day. I know she was there at night too often, watching over this very sick child with the ragged breathing. A child barely holding on. And then one lung collapsed, and there was an emergency operation to inflate it again. At some point, Jerry's breathing stopped. Her heart stopped. The doctors assumed they had lost her, but her nurse, Cody, begged to be able to give her a shot. I'm not sure what it was, maybe something like adrenaline. I know that Cody loved her, and that all of her nurses loved her, and Cody wouldn't let her go. On her own, she tripled the dose that the doctor okayed. Later on, she would say to us, nearly every year, "You are already dead. It wouldn't make any difference." But at this point, Jerry's heart started back up. Her breathing picked up. And at this point, if I was telling this story in Adam's school, a fourth grader from our street would say, "Cool, your mom was a zombie?" Her doctor was told, and he was not as pleased. "She'll be an invalid all her life," he said. "She'll never walk. She'll never have a normal life." And I think he was accusing Cody in that statement. And so it seemed to be true for a long time. Mom's hair fell out, she couldn't walk. An iron lung breathed for her. She couldn't sit up, she could barely eat. But months went by, and Jerry's mother spoon-fed her. Nurse Cody helped her to stand and made her take those first wobbly steps. Cody held the vision, kept her going, lent her strength until she could take off on her own. 6 months after her arrival in the hospital, she was allowed to go home to convalesce. The doctor's assessment to her parents: "Don't hope for much. She's very weak." Well, those of you who know Jerry know that weak is not a word we would apply to her. As soon as she could walk steadily, she put on high heels. When she mastered them, she danced. Then she swam. She went back to riding in open convertibles with wet hair, although she was always nervous if I did something like that. She finished high school, and always she went back to the hospital to stride down the hall, to show off her children, to parade her radiant good health, to find Cody and give her another hug. They were a team, Cody giving her her life back, and Mom rolling up her sleeves, getting ready to make something of it. That's my first story, and the second one is very short. It's about you, because you made my mother's life as surely as Nurse Cody. As surely as Cody gave it back to her, you were a team with her. As much as the town of Lexington gave her an outlet for her activism and her desire to poof and tilt and tweak and fuss over something, you were her team. You gave her the energy and the joy that she took in life. Talking to you, working with you, hearing your stories, informing you, berating you, that was her passion. She just loved you, us. She really loved all of us. Thanks.